Welcome to the Friends of Medieval Dublin virtual walking tour of medieval Dublin. This video is about the Viking house at Quay. Your guide is Patrick Herbage.
Hello everybody, my name is Patrick Herbage again, and I'm one of the Friends of Medieval Dublin. I also work in Dublinia Heritage Centre, so if there's anything more you need to know about the Vikings, then please come and visit us. We also have two resident Viking skeletons if you want to come and see those, and one that is from York, which is going to be there until October, so you need to get in. You can book your tickets online. But I've brought you to the site here. This is the Viking site. Not much to see here at the moment, but just below us, just in the traffic lights, the old medieval wall would have come along from Cook Street and continued on through the civic offices here behind us, and Christchurch is just up behind us. The Vikings would have come here. They overwintered for the first time in 841, but those skeletons that we found back in 2009 and 2010 has given us a much earlier date, where they would have been over at the Dublin Gardens in Dublin from the early 800s, and then they overwintered for the first time in 841. If we fast forward to 917, this is where they would have settled here at the Quay site. So if you can imagine it here behind me, there was over 120 houses found by Pat Wallace back in the late 1970s, early 1980s, and he said that when he dug up the houses, the grass was still growing. He could smell the grass. And what I'm standing on here is an imprint of one of those houses. So they're rectangular in shape. They had two raised platforms on each side of the walls, which would have been like a double bed. They would have sat in them during the day and slept in them at night. One entrance up at the top of us here, and then the toilet would have been at the entrance, and the heart is in the very center, or the heart of the house. And there was rows of these. They found the wattle walls up as far as their knees, and as I said, over 120 of these found. Over on the other side is Fishamble Street, which you'll hear about later from Sparky. We'll tell you all about Fishamble Street. So a lot of their workshops, a lot of their amber workshops were over on that side, and then they had houses on this side. The Vikings came here in the 9th century, probably attracted by the monastery that would have been located over at Dublin. And as I told you about already, we get our first name for Dublin over at Quay, at St. Audience. Our second name actually comes from that site over at Dublin Castle, known as Dublin, because of the black pool that the River Liffey mixed with the River Poddle, and gives us our second name for Dublin, which is Dublin. Black is Dove, Lane is pool. And when the Vikings came here, they really couldn't pronounce Dublin, so they came with Difflin, and Difflin is what the Vikings called this area here at the Longford. Down at the bottom of Fishamble Street, they used to moor their boats, but also moored their boats back over at the Dublin Gardens, which is just in front of the Chester Beatty Library, if you know it. Back in 1028-1030, Christchurch was built by one of our most famous kings, Sitric Silkenbeard. He started building it in 1030, and it was consecrated as a cathedral, which you'll hear all about from Stuart Kinsella later on in the tour. He'll tell you all about it, but the church that's there today is more a Norman cathedral. The original one would have been a stave church. If you look up the stave churches today in Norway, you'll see the fantastic looking buildings. And Sitric Silkenbeard was also a part of the Battle of Clontarf, one of the most famous battles fought in Irish history. It's better known as the Battle for Dublin, because Brian Boru had got quite a lot of control over Dublin, and Sitric didn't really like the taxing that he was doing on them, so they rebelled against him in the Battle of Clontarf. Sitric survives and goes on to build Christchurch Cathedral. So there we have three names for Dublin. We have Quay over at St. Audience. The second name from Dublin comes from Dublin at the Chester Beatty Gardens. The third name for Dublin is Difflin, which is the Vikings' pronunciation of Dublin. And then finally, when the Normans arrive, in the 1170s, we have Dublinia, which is our exhibition that we have over here just across the road. So if you want to know anything more about the Vikings, if you want to meet a Viking skeleton that would have walked around here, his name is Gunnar, then come and visit